Hi, boys and girls. This is Mrs. Pearson, your elementary ELL teacher. Today we're going to do a vocabulary review for second grade Journeys Lesson 1 and the anchor text, Henry and Mudge. We're going to review, that means practice and refresh our brain about the vocabulary words in the story. So for this lesson, you will need a pencil and you will need a piece of paper where you're going to write your numbers 1 to 16. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Or if your teacher has given you a copy of this worksheet, you can use this instead. But if you need to, push pause, get a pencil, get a piece of paper or your worksheet, number it 1 through 16, and you'll be ready to go. So let's review our words. You do not need to write these words right now. Let's just read them. A is straight. B, collars. C, row. D, floppy. E, stood. F, drooled. G, curly. H, wade. So these are our 8 vocabulary words. You don't need to write them yet. Here's our learning target. At the end of this lesson, you will reflect on your learning and see if you've reached the learning target. So repeat after me. I can use pictures and context clues to fill in the word that best fits each sentence. I can use pictures and context clues to fill in the word that best fits each sentence. Success criteria. That means how will you know you're successful at reaching this learning target? Well, here's our steps for success. And it's a lot like climbing a mountain. And our goal is to get to the top. So, number 1, I will. Number 1, read each sentence or group of words. So I'm going to read those out loud to you. Number 2, I will choose the vocabulary word that best fits each sentence. 3, I will write the correct word on my whiteboard or paper. All right, let's get started. Number 1, the blank around the dogs' necks were round and spiky. The blank around the dogs' necks were round and spiky. Number 1, what do you think it is? The straight around the dogs' necks? The collars around the dogs' necks? The row around the dogs' necks? Or the floppy around the dogs' necks? What makes sense given our picture clues and the context of where it is in the sentence? Well, if you said collars, whoops, you were right. So number 1 is collars. The collars around the dogs' necks were round and spiky. C-O-L-L-A-R-S, collars. Make sure you write it down for number 1. If you need more time, push pause and then play when you're ready to go. Number 2, the cat blanked up so she could see what was going on outside. The cat blanked up so she could see what was going on outside. Would it be the cat stood up so she could see? Would it be the cat drooled up, the cat curly up, or the cat weighed up? What makes sense given our picture clue and where the word is in the sentence? You got it, stood. The cat stood up so she could see what was going on outside. S-T-O-O-D, stood. Number 3, the basset hound had long and blank ears. Would it be the basset hound had long and straight ears? The basset hound had long and collars ears? The basset hound had long and row ears? Or the basset hound had long and floppy ears? Floppy. The basset hound had long and floppy ears. So F-L-O-P-P-Y, floppy. To flop means you fall down. Floppy describes something. Number 4, when Scooby-Doo saw the juicy steak, he blank all over himself. Look at those picture clues. When Scooby-Doo saw the juicy steak, he stood all over himself. He drooled all over himself. He curly all over himself, or he weighed all over himself. Look at those picture clues. Drooled. To drool, drooled means you did it in the past. When Scooby-Doo saw the juicy steak, he drooled all over himself. D-R-O-O-L is the root word with E-D, drooled. Write it down for number 4. If you need more time, push pause. Number 5, an octagon has 8 blank sides. An octagon has 8 straight sides, collar sides, 8 row sides, or 8 floppy sides. Look at the picture clue and the context of where the word is in the sentence. An octagon has 8 straight sides. This is a tricky word to spell, S-T-R-A-I-G-H-T. S-T-R-A-I-G-H-T, straight. An octagon has 8 straight sides. Number 6, the dog's hair was so blank that it was hard to comb. Look at the picture clues and look where the word is in the sentence to make sure to make sense of the sentence. The dog's hair was so stood that it was hard to comb. The dog's hair was so drooled that it was hard to comb. The dog's hair was so curly that it was hard to comb, or the dog's hair was so weighed that it was hard to comb. Well, if you said curly, you were correct. The dog's hair was so curly that it was hard to comb. Look at the picture clues. There's a dog with very curly hair. And to curl means wavy. All right, C-U-R-L is the root word, and then it has a Y at the end to describe the hair, curly. Number 7, the chairs were all lined up in a blank. Look at the picture clues and where it is in the sentence. The chairs were all lined up in a straight. The chairs were all lined up in a collars. The chairs were all lined up in a row. The chairs were all lined up in a floppy. What makes sense in that sentence? Row. The chairs were all lined up in a row. R-O-W. You could have said also the chairs were all lined up in a straight row, but it didn't have 2 blanks, just 1. The chairs were all lined up in a row. Number 8, the 2 cats blink more than the Pusheen cat. The 2 cats stood more than the Pusheen cat. The 2 cats drooled more than the Pusheen cat. The 2 cats curly more than the Pusheen cat. Or the 2 cats weighed more than the Pusheen cat. Look at our picture clue and where it is in a sentence. It is weighed. Remember, weight is how heavy. And if you are heavier on a teeter-totter, you are reaching the ground. The 2 cats weighed more than the Pusheen cat. The root word is weigh, W-E-I-G-H, with the E-D ending, weighed. Number 9, you can attach leashes, bells, or name tags onto blank. You can attach leashes, bells, or name tags onto straight, You can attach leashes, bells, or name tags onto collars. You can attach leashes, bells, or name tags onto row, or you can attach leashes, bells, or name tags onto floppy. What makes sense given the picture clues and where the word is in the sentence? Collars. You can attach leashes, bells, or name tags onto collars. C-O-L-L-A-R-S. Collars. More than one collar is collars. Put the S at the end. Number 10. What is a synonym, which means the same, for springy? What is a synonym, a word that means the same, for springy? Would it be stood, drooled, curly, or wade? What is similar to springy? Look at the picture clues. It would be curly. So number 10, write curly because a curl is a twirly thing. And it looks kind of like a spring. C-U-R-L-Y, curly. Number 11, what is the antonym or opposite for wavy? The antonym or opposite for wavy. Would it be straight, collars, row, or floppy? Antonym opposite. The opposite of wavy would be straight. Spell it. This is a tough one. S-T-R-A-I-G-H-T. S-T-R-A-I-G-H-T. Number 12. What word goes with liquid and dripping? Look at that picture clue. What word goes with liquid and dripping? Would it be stood, drooled, curly, or wade? It would be drooled. Look at the pictures. They kind of look similar. To drool is the root word, drool, D-R-O-O-L, and then you add the ed, which means in the past tense, drooled. Number 13, what is a synonym, which means the same for in a line? What's a synonym or same for in a line? Look at that picture clue. Would it be straight, collars, or row, or floppy? Well, this is kind of a tricky one. Row, because if you're in a line, you're in a row, but you could also be in a straight line. So if you had said straight, it could potentially be okay, but row, R-O-W, row. All right, 14. You use a scale to do this. And there's good old Garfield. What word am I? You use a scale to do this. What word am I? Would it be stood, drooled, curly, or wade? It would be wade, the root word, because he's weighing himself, or weighed in the past tense. W-E-I-G-H, and then the ed ending. Garfield has weighed himself on the scale. 15. What is a synonym or same for droopy? What is a synonym or same for droopy? Would it be straight, collars, row, or floppy? Look at the picture clues. It would be floppy, droopy, floppy, very similar, or the same, F-L-O-P to flop, double the P, F-L-O-P-P-Y, floppy, describes the ears of the dog, or even the flowers, like flopping over, floppy. All right, last one, 16. What is an antonym or opposite of sitting or laying down? The opposite of sitting or laying down. Would it be stood, drooled, curly, or weighed? Stood, drooled, curly, or weighed. The opposite is stood. Past tense means to stand in the past. Stood. S-T-O-O-D. Stood. All right, boys and girls, we did a great job. Nice work. You've mastered your vocabulary words. Up at the top of your paper, I want you to give yourself a reflection grade for your learning. How well did you reach this target? I can use pictures and context clues to fill in the word that best fits each sentence. Would you give yourself a 4? I could teach this lesson. I easily selected all the correct vocabulary words that fit each sentence. Or 3, I was able to select most of the correct vocabulary words that fit each sentence. Or 2, I was able to select some of the correct vocabulary words that fit each sentence. Or 1, I was not able to select any of the correct vocabulary words that fit each sentence. How do you think you did? 4, 3, 2, or 1? And that's all. I challenge you now to check your work and have a great day.